Hello! Today we are going to make slotted handles in root woven items. I didn't think it would take me much time to work out this masterclass. However, it turned out I took the wrong path. This was my first attempt, and I was going to entwine it and trim the edge like this as well. But then I noticed that I failed to make the stitches identical and smooth and gave this method up. After which followed experiments, both successful and unsuccessful, well, at first unsuccessful. Finally I found a solution I'd like to present you today. So, I'm weaving a round basket, and now it's time to make slit handles. I've marked the points where the handles are supposed to be with clothing clips. Here I've got 16 coils between the clips, and 7 coils where the handles will be. I finished the weaving in the same very point where I started. As for the handles, I make them in a different point. This was one of my mistakes, while lots of my attempts have failed. I tried making handles in the point where I finished weaving, which resulted in different numbers of rows and handles of different height. Well, without getting involved in the maze, I found such a solution. You may develop your own ideas and share your impression. So, I've marked the points where I'm going to make handles and start weaving the sides, leaving the gaps for the handles. This way. I propose such a solution. I tuck the tube in under one stitch, and start weaving. Don't pull the stitches too tight, otherwise the edges wouldn't be smooth. Lengthen this tube as a tube of the base. I've lengthened the tube of the base. Continue weaving. Now lengthen the working tube. I'll get rid of all the tails later. Lengthen in a normal way. We've got a masterclass on how to make an invisible joint when lengthening. You may watch it if you've missed it. Continue. I've smoothened this row. Continue this way until the next mark. When I've reached the clip, I take it off, weave the last coil, there have to be left 7 coils. Earlier I tried bending the tube, overthinking and complicating the things, but then I found the following solution. I hide this tail of the tube of the base here like this. And hide the working tube from the wrong side in the same very way, under 2 successive loops. Don't pull too tight, otherwise you would over-tighten the row. I don't cut any tails so far. Get back to the beginning of the row. Weave the next row. Lead a working tube through the loop. Use part of it as a base. And start weaving with the remaining part of this tube. My tubes have gotten a bit dry, but I've decided not to moisten them today. I've got some painting solution left of the same color, so I'll paint the cracks later. But commonly I try weaving with wetter tubes, in which case there are no cracks. Let's lengthen this tube also. I've reached the end of the row again, and again I hide the working tube from behind and the tube of the base from the front under 2 coils. In this case it will be easier to do it with the help of a knitting needle. I've prepared a gap and led the tail through it. Do everything very neatly. Well, if the tubes were wetter, the work would be neater. As you can see, the row is straight and smooth. Here I hide the tail under 2 coils. Let's try it like this. Well, the main idea is to start the row from the very beginning every time and to hide the tails under the loops of the previous row. I've already woven 2 rows this way. I propose you to weave 3 or 4 rows. My tubes are rather thick, so 3 or 4 rows will be quite enough for me. So start the 3rd row. And the 4th one. Continue in the same way as the previous rows. So make 4 rows from one side and 4 rows from the opposite side in the same very way. So I've woven 4 rows from both sides and I've got the picture like this. These tails are untucked working tubes. In the last row I've tucked in the tube of the base, hiding it from inside. The working tube is left. I'm going to use it as a base of the connecting strip. Continue working. I take one more tube of the base, place it here, lengthen the bridge a little up to the length of the handle, well, this tube is of a bit different color. The connecting strap has to be as long as the handle slit is. I'll tuck the excessive tail in later. And start wrapping the connector. Start wrapping the connecting tubes. Try making coils at the same intervals as in the lower row. I've got 7 coils down here. So I have to make the same number of coils here, 7 coils as well. Then I cut off the remainder like this. Tuck the tail in, fastening the cross piece. You can even do without glue. And continue weaving. Smoothen the roll with the handles. Reach the next handle and repeat all the same actions there. In the same way, make 7 stitches from the opposite side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the same way cut off the excessive tail. Lead it through 1 or 2 coils. Fasten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coils, and continue weaving the row. Don't let these protruding tails discourage you. I'll cut them off neatly. By the way, one more point. Here are my protruding tails. Well, the middle one is optimal for this purpose. You can use it to decorate the lower row. We are going to trim both the upper and the lower rows by wrapping them. That's why you can use these tails instead of cutting them off. Mine has gotten a bit dry, so it's not very easy to work with. But anyway, you've caught the idea. So far I've got it like this. Continue weaving a few more rows, depending on the required height. As for me, I'm going to weave 2-3 rows more, after which I'll have to complete the handles. How? I've used one tail from here. I wrap both the upper and the lower rows, filling these gaps between the coils, which makes the item look more complete. As I've already shown you on the example of my previous works, you can make 1 or 2 coils, in case one coil is not enough to fill the gap. Let's take a look. 1 coil is enough here. Shift the coils a bit. Here I'll make 2 coils. You're free to adjust the number of coils. Your main task is to fill the gaps. Continue this way until the end of the row. In the same way, I'm going to finish the upper row as well. This is what I need this additional tube for. I'm going to weave the next row like this, leading the working tube here. As for the lower tube, it will be left for filling the gaps when trimming the handle this way. Continue. Weave the first row over the handle and a few following rows. The lower part has been trimmed already. The only thing left is to trim the upper part of the slot. I've got a cut-in handle like this. It is suitable both for round and rectangular items. You can make it of a different size, narrower, wider, lower, higher, the way you like. Any experiments are welcome. I will be happy to see your variant of such a handle.